Here's an interview from one of our past shows on Rock and Metal Revival. If you're interested in hearing full shows, go to our Facebook page and check out our list of affiliates for times and places where you can hear Rock and Metal Revival. There's brand new music from British Lion. The song is called Lightning. It's your first time hearing it right here on Rock and Metal Revival, and Jerry, I'm digging this.
Yeah, I recognize a little bit of sound in there.
Yeah.
But
recognize that bass line, can't you?
I can recognize the bass there.
We want to welcome to Rock and Metal Revival. It's an honor to have Steve Harris with us from British Lion. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Steve, it is such to hear this new album. We got a little preview of it. We heard the first one, and you guys are going at it again and finally bringing British Lion to the U.S. That's got to be exciting.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's first time ever, so yeah, brilliant. We played Canada, South America, and Japan for the first time last November, and this time around the States, it's been a long while. We've had quite a few people, complaining why haven't we played there, and so we're fitting in as many shows as we can. We can't play all over the States; it's such a massive country, so we'll come back to some of the other areas in the future, hopefully. But we're doing what we can just to fit things in, and it's difficult to fit stuff in, obviously, around Maiden, but just try and cram things in wherever I can.
So what can we look forward to on this album? I mean, I've heard the first two songs that are out, Spitfire and Lightning, and they sound a little heavier than the last album.
Yeah, I think it's just a lot more representative of the way that we are live. We went in straight after a tour and recorded those songs, and we've just been playing those two particular songs live before that. So we went in and did them very much on a live situation, so they sound very similar to what we play them live. And even if you go on YouTube and check out stuff, or whatever area you go on and check things out on, the live sound is very, very similar. So it's just nice to get that out there, and we're very representative where we are now, and have been for the last few years playing live as a band. Obviously, from the first album, we hadn't played live at that point, so it was difficult to kind of create what we would be doing, and then going out and evolving as a band live over the years and playing all around the world, mainly in Europe though. We've evolved live as a band, and I think this is the result of it. So this is a lot more representative where we're at now.
Okay. Well, Steve, with the sound that I'm getting from British Lion, is this does everybody in the band write the material, or is this a creative outlet for you?
No, it's everyone's writing, and the drummer doesn't really write, but the rest of the guys all write. So, and they're all really bringing in lots of really powerful ideas. So it's fantastic. I'm really pleased with the song. I think the songwriting is really strong. I'm just really happy with it.
So how do you guys go about writing? Is it everybody just do you guys actually get together and go through stuff, or is it emailing files and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, the first album was a lot more like bits and pieces, but backwards and forwards and this, that, and the other. But this has been a lot more just kind of working stuff together, and the other guys usually bringing in basic ideas and then working from there.
Okay. Now, Stevie, coming over here this past summer, we saw you in the big sheds, and this time around you're kind of playing some smaller venues. Do you have a preference? I mean, do you like being closer to that crowd than you would be in a big venue?
I love playing all venues. I mean, I love playing the sheds, I love playing the arenas, I love playing massive festivals, and I love playing small clubs, and I'm very, very lucky that I get to do all of that. So it's a fantastic situation for me, really.
So what can we expect at a British Lion concert?
Well, you can expect 110%, like you get at a Maiden concert, but it's a rock, it's not metal, it's rock. It's, more kind of, I don't know, maybe shorter songs, catchy hook lines, that sort of thing, but, a very, heartfelt, sort of performance. Maiden, well, it's not really that different in the sense that, I do that when I'm with Maiden, I give 110%, but I think if people come to the show, they'll enjoy it. I really think they will. If it's you've got to get people there in the first place, and it's a challenge to put a new thing to get people in there, and you never really know what you're going to get. Obviously the first time you play a country or a city or whatever, you don't really know what you're dealing with. And like after we did the first album, we had no idea what we were worth in terms of numbers, and it could be a little scary in the sense that you could get few hundred, and you might get 50. You just don't know. And,
exactly.
But you just got to go and test the water and see what happens.
Well, you know, Steve, we've talked to a lot of artists about the difference between the rock crowds in Europe and the rock crowds here in the States. Do you feel there's a big difference, or do you just feel that maybe it's radio and the way things work here as far as getting your sound out to the people?
I think it's such a vast country. I mean, you've got all the different states you've got over here. It's like having all those different separate countries in a way, but size-wise anyway. And I know that even people in the past, or even with Maiden or other bands, even UFO and people like that, they could do well in one city, and then they could go 100 miles, 200 miles down the road and not mean anything. But it can happen like that in Europe also. I mean, we had a bit of that going on in Europe. We played in Germany, a place called Essen, and we sold it out. And then we went 100 miles up, just slightly less than 100 miles up the road to Hamburg, and we had less than 100, and we had about 95 people. And partly that was because the promoter didn't really do his job properly. But the crazy thing was, it was a great gig still, because in fact sometimes in a way you try harder, because you think, people should go away and tell the people that should have been here. That's the kind of attitude, and I'm proud of that attitude. But the European and audiences all around the world all differ a little bit here and there, and whether it's because of the radio thing or whether it's because it's such a vast country, I don't really know. But it doesn't mean people are any less into it. It's just that they maybe react a different way, and I mean, it's just even parts of Europe are different. If you play in Germany or Belgium, or it's different to a reaction that you get in, say, Portugal or Spain. So. And if you play in New York, maybe it's a different reaction to it if you play in some, somewhere else like LA or somewhere like that. So they all vary. But I have to be honest, I suppose, if I was going to rent a crowd from somewhere, I'd probably rent it from somewhere in South America, because they're absolutely crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you guys are going to do the Monsters of Rock cruise. Have you ever done one of those?
Yeah, we did it 2 years ago, and I loved it. I mean, I'd never been on a cruise before either, so to go on there and actually play on there as well was fantastic, and I really enjoyed it. And they invited us to go back the following year, but we couldn't because I had commitments elsewhere. And so we said, we'll come back on the next one. So we're doing that, and I'm really looking forward to it again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, Steve, for our listeners who might not be real familiar with British Lion, let's run through the lineup and tell everybody who's part of this band, because I'm really loving what I'm hearing. Yeah,
Richard Taylor on vocals. You've got David Hawkins on guitar, Graham Leslie on guitar, Simon Dawson on the drums, and me, Steve Harris, on the bass.
Now, are these guys that you had worked with before in the past, or just over the years got to know?
I've known them, David Hawkins not so much, but the rest of the guys I knew from the 90s, and so I've worked with them before, with British Lion before, when I was helping them to work on stuff, and I was getting them gigs, and I was managing them and doing all kinds of stuff with them. I actually got up and played a song with them in Portugal once, but I thought the only way to let this material, which I felt was really strong, see the light of day, was to actually just be part of it properly, and be in the band and take it from there. So, and I'm really pleased I did it, because I'm really enjoying it.
Well, I'm a musician, play guitar, play bass, and everything you've done just totally inspires everything I play. But have you ever thought of doing one of those instructional videos? Because your right-hand technique and how you gallop with it's just amazing.
Well, I've never really thought about it, and I think these days with, people putting things on YouTube or wherever, or even our own stuff, official video stuff, I think you can see stuff what I'm playing. I suppose you're not going to see everything because it's changing from person to person, but I never really thought about it. And to be honest, it's a time factor as well. It's, it's not enough hours in a day to cram things in now without doing things like that, really. But it's a compliment to me. I think it's very nice of you to say that, and I suppose, at some point, who knows? I wouldn't rule anything out, but at the moment, I haven't really considered it, to be honest.
Jerry is a musician and I'm just a music lover. But one thing I can say about your playing, Steve, is when I hear you play the bass, I know who's playing.
Right off the bat.
And I think that's a huge compliment to your career and what you've done over the years.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks. I think in the first British line I was trying a few different things, a few different sounds, but at the end of the day, it does what it says on the tin. And so when I was actually playing live with them, my sound is I am what I am. And so I think this album is now more representative of that. And that's why I want to put a live album out, really, because I think there's some great songs on the first album, which I think kind of need to sound like the way we are now.
Awesome.
Now, I just got one question about Iron Maiden. The Phantom of the Opera, that riff, when my friend showed me that when I was a teenager, I thought I was just badass once I could do that intro riff. Where'd that come from? Because that was one of the hardest, but once you got that, it kind of...
I don't know, really. I mean, I just get melodies in my head, and sometimes they work well on the guitar or bass, or sometimes they work well as a vocal, or both, really. I just come up with lots of melodies and this, that, and the other, and then I just work out which it needs to be. Same thing with, say, Transylvania, for example, could have ended up I had a melody for that as well, for a vocal line, but then I thought, you know what, it doesn't really need it. Phantom of the Opera just felt natural. I just go by how I feel naturally. I go by the gut instinct, and that just felt right to be a riff and a vocal melody as well.
Well, Steve, we appreciate you taking time to be on our show, and we love this album. What we've heard of it, The Burning, it comes out in January of 2020, and you'll be here in the States, and we hope to see you when you're out on the road. And we want to play the song Spitfire. You want to tell us a little bit about that tune? Is there anything special we should know about that?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's another song that we've been playing live for a little while now, and we finally managed to get the studio version done. And we think it's a really, really strong song. I really enjoy playing it live. The lyrics are basically about, World War II, really. My father was evacuated from London because of the Blitz. He was evacuated to a place called Suffolk, which, funny enough, is where a couple of the guys in the band live now.
Okay. Wow.
So, he used to be working with a farmer fields or whatever, and then some of the planes would end up coming over top, and it's kind of about that, really. So it means a lot to me, that song.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
We can't thank you enough for spending a little time with us today. We hope to see you out on the road with British Lion in 2020, and we wish you all the success.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you.